All right, in today's video, we're going to be talking about subtracting integers, and the problems I pulled from are from the subtracting integers quiz from Edgenuity. Okay, subtracting integers, and this diagram, you can come back and look at it later on if you'd like. It's just a representation of adding and subtracting integers. If it helps you out, great. I'm not going to spend any time going over it. If it helps out, the rules in which adding and subtracting integers, it helps, great. If not, that's all right, because we're going to go through some problems and see if we can make some sense of them. All right, the first problem, which expression? I want to write an expression based upon the model that's shown here. So what do I have here? Now, first we have a block. One of the blocks has a circle with a line through it. Okay, but forgetting that for a second, I have 6 negative blocks. Okay, so we're starting off with 6 negative blocks. So then I have to ask, what is the circle with a line through it? It means I'm taking away something. Okay, I am taking away one of the blocks. So I'm taking away. So to take away, we have the subtraction sign, the operation, which ultimately means the opposite, because it's the opposite of addition. The opposite of addition is subtraction. Okay? Well, what am I taking away? Well, I'm taking away, do this in a different color, I'm taking away a -1 block. So going back to this, we said this was the opposite. It's the opposite of addition, which is subtraction. Okay? But then we have another line here. So we went opposite of addition is subtraction, but then we have another opposite sign, and the opposite of subtraction is addition. So ultimately, this is -6 plus 1. And we can use a number line and go 6 to the left, and then go 1 to the right, and figure out where we end up at. I could use counters, which we ultimately have in front of us. So let's erase this. I have, if I were to have 6 of them, actually, let me draw them again, 6, and they're all negative. If I were to add 1 that's positive, these would cancel out. And so I have 5 negative here. If I did the number line, went 6 to the left and then 1 to the right, I'm still ending up at -5. So our answer here is 6 minus -1, or -6 plus 1. Either way, both of these expressions are equivalent, and both of them, your difference, your sum is going to be -5. All right, so let's look at this problem. Zoe is 346 meters below sea level while visiting a part of Israel. She descends 71 meters to visit the Dead Sea. Which integer represents the elevation in meters of the Dead Sea? So in a lot of the word problems, they love the word descending or ascending. So if you're ascending, means you're starting a lower number and you're going up. That's ascending to a greater number, so this would be least to greatest. Descending means you're starting up something high, number greater in value, and you're going down to a number lesser in value. So this would be greatest to least. So let's focus on this descending. How do I go from a number pretty high to a number with lesser value? I subtract. So let's see what numbers we have here. So right now I'm 346 meters below sea level, and if I'm below sea level, if this were vertical line, and if sea level is at 0, I'm below it, I'm at a negative number. So I have -346. Now I'm descending, so that means I'm taking away, and then 71. So if we go back to our little image at the very beginning, if they're both negative, ultimately, you're going to be adding the numbers together. So if we used a number line, this would be a very big number line, but the reason you're adding, because if they are both positive, like 2 plus 2, you go 2 to the right, 2 to the right, you end up at 4. if they're both negative, you would go 2 to the left and 2 to the left, and you'd end up at -4 or 4. Now these numbers are, obviously, their absolute value is a lot greater than 2. So on this one, I would go, different color, 346 to the left. I don't know, that's not to scale, but I'm going to the left, and then 71 more. Again, not to scale, but both of these I'm going to the left. If I use counters, that would take forever, but either way, they would all be negative values on the counter, so I just add them up. So I'll erase this. I have room to work this out. So all I'm going to do, they're both negative, therefore the answer is negative, and they add them up, and I get -417 feet below sea level. All right, so let's look at the next problem. Garrett must inspect a bridge that goes over a river. He begins 18 feet above the water level to inspect the lighting. Descends, so again we have ascending or descending, so this one's descending, so we're going down, so we're going to subtract. Descends 32 feet to inspect the base of the bridge underwater, then descends another 4 feet to check on the concrete anchoring the base. So I want to create an expression that would model this. Okay, so first, we're going to start off with 18 feet above. I'm going to write this above so we can see it better. 18 feet above. Now this is going to be positive. If we had a vertical number line, here's 0. If you're above sea level, that means it's going to be positive. So positive 18. Then I'm going to descend. So descending, we're going to subtract. Descend 32 feet. And then we're going to descend 4 more feet. So if we were to solve this, we're going to use the order of operations. Now on this, we have a positive 18, subtract by 32. If one number is positive and one number is negative, I'm going to take the number with the greater absolute value. Excuse me. And if you don't remember what absolute value, we have a video on that on my channel. So the number with the greater absolute value is -32. The absolute value of 32 is positive 32, and I'm going to subtract it by the number with the lesser absolute value, which is 18. And 32 minus 18 is 14. Now, my answer, my difference, is going to be -14, because my number with the greater absolute value is negative, and therefore the answer is negative. Of course, I'm done with this problem. Think of it this way. If I had $18 and I owed you 32, I could pay you 18, but I still owe you $14. Now I've taken care, I'll cross this out, I've taken care of those two. What am I left with? -4. And then, like the previous problem, if they're both negative, what do? You add them up, and your answer is negative. The answer is -18 feet below water level. Why is it negative? Because if I used a number line, I can go 14 to the left. I'm going to the left because it's negative. And then I'm going to go 4 more to the left because that's negative, and I'm going to end up at -18. So again, our answer to this problem was -18 feet below water level. All right, so let's go to this problem. So on this, we have 8 positive blocks. So I'm going to write +8. And then, of course, we have the circle here. Do it in different colors, might be a little easier to see. And we're taking away one of them. We're going to take away a +1. Okay, and so this is relatively easy. If I have 8 positive blocks and I take away one of them, what am I left with? I'm left with a +7. Now, obviously, when you write your sum, you don't have to write a difference. You don't have to write the positive in front of the 7, but you can if you'd like. So again, all we're left with is 8 minus 1, which is 7. And though this is not modeled, an equivalent expression is also 8 plus -1. This is not what's modeled here. But these two, 8 minus 1, 8 plus -1, both of those would give you +7. All right, so I believe we have 2 more problems. Let me see again. 2 more problems. First, what is the difference? I love these problems. What is the difference between -4 and 6? So a lot of students struggle with this because I have a -4 and I have a 6. but then they don't have an operation right here, but it tells me what to do here. The difference means subtract. So when I solve this, I'm finding the difference between -4 and -6, and as we've seen from other problems, if they're both negative, what do? We add them up. 4 plus 6 is 10. My answer is -10. Why? If we use the number line, started off at 0, negative sign, so I'm going to the left 4, going 6 more, and I'm going to end up at -10. So again, difference, -4 and -6 would be -10. Now I know this isn't shown, but I want to go ahead and, what if we were finding the difference between -4 and -6? What's the difference between -4 and -6? On this one, we have -4, and difference, but I have a -6 right there. So 4 is obviously negative, but what about 6? So we talked about earlier that this is the opposite, and the opposite of addition is subtraction, but what if I have another opposite sign? The opposite of subtraction is addition, so I would need to rewrite this as -4 plus 6. At this point, one number is negative and one number is positive. What do you do then? You take the number with the greater absolute value, 6, you subtract it by the number with the lesser absolute value, 4, and 6 minus 4 is 2. So is your number positive or negative? On this one, it would be positive because 6 has a greater absolute value. Think of it this way, you owe someone $4, you have $6, you can pay them the 4, you still have $2 left over. So I just wanted to show you if you were finding the difference between two negative numbers. Okay, that's one example. All right, so let's look at the problem, the last problem we're going to do on this video. What is the value of x in the equation below? So now we don't have to solve this algebraically. The variable is already on the right-hand side. So all we have to do is follow the order of operations and actually add or subtract whatever they're telling us to do. So let's look at this. We have -3, and then I have minus a -8. Minus a -8, of course we know the opposite, and the opposite makes it addition. Opposite. Addition is subtraction. We go one more opposite sign. The opposite of subtraction is addition. So it's -3 plus 8. I mean, this is the same thing. This and that are the exact same thing. -3 plus 8, and then I have minus a -2, minus and minus a 2. Opposite of addition is subtraction, another opposite sign, so that's addition plus 2. All right. So my first thing is -3 plus 8. One's positive, one's negative. So what do? And take the number with the greater absolute value, which is 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. Is it positive or negative? Well, my number with the greater absolute value, which is 8, is positive. Therefore, my answer to that is positive. So it's positive 5, and then plus 2. So I've taken care of that. Positive 5 plus 2, they're both positive. Add them up. Your answer is positive because they are both positive. So your answer to this right here would be positive 7. So I hope this video on subtracting integers has helped. If you need any additional help or you have any questions, you can email me at jhewlett@leisd.ws. Thanks and have a great day.